Hello everybody, good morning and welcome to the United Stand. This is your latest Manchester United transfer news. Lots to get into this morning. Antony, De Jong, United's first signing, Eriksen, a midfielder from Italy. Loads to get into, as well as some updates coming out from Manchester United as well. What a show it was last night with Charlie. I see a lot of people this morning talking about De Jong deal still on. Yeah, we did that last night. Maybe move the story further forward instead of regurgitating. So we will be talking a little bit about De Jong, but I want to get into Man United's first signing because big update this morning. There's going to be a big update. I'm convinced from what I heard this morning, there's going to be a big update leaked out of Man United today. May even be before lunchtime. Remember last Friday, Whitwell, Athletic, De Jong interest. United needed that to come out after Nunez. United need to put something out, and it's Friday before the weekend. We're fully expecting a brief coming out, something big from United today, and I'll talk about what I think that might be in a minute. But who will be United's first signing? I think this is more important than De Jong. We'll talk about De Jong in a minute, but I think we're all getting a bit bored of De Jong. So let's talk about United's first signing. We know we're interested in Eriksen. Eriksen is a player that Man United really want to get. Maybe it's going to be him. I've got a theory on who I think it's going to be, but actually there's a story coming out this morning about Daniel Bachmann, who is a goalkeeper from Watford. Oh, it's amazing, get excited. So Bachmann actually at the end of May said that Manchester United had offered him, Man United were very interested in him, that he understood that he was going to be the deputy goalkeeper for David De Gea. So we know Henderson's going to go on loan to Forest. That's a crap deal. We know that, blah, blah, blah. But apparently Manchester United are going to bring in Bachmann, who's an Austrian keeper. Watford's sort of reserve, shared the role with Foster last year, coming into Manchester United for somewhere between 2 and 4 million. That could well be our first signing. I don't think it's going to be, but it could be. My thoughts on that are that I'm really going to summarise this in 10 seconds. Don't think he's particularly good. But as a backup goalkeeper, do you need a goalkeeper that's amazing? You need somebody that if your first choice goalkeeper gets injured. So look, ultimately not massively. We're going to talk about Rabiot in a minute, Glenn. But yeah, look, not massively excited about it. But then again, I don't think you necessarily should be excited about a backup goalkeeper. I actually think something's going to happen with Antony. I think Antony may well end up being Manchester United's first signing. I haven't got any. Oh yes, this is going to happen. It's about to break. I just feel that this De Jong deal is. Look, we'll talk about De Jong in a minute. The De Jong deal is 7 weeks. Look, I'm tempted to call Man United TweetDeck FC now. TweetDeck FC. Do you know what TweetDeck is? TweetDeck is something you can use where you can schedule your tweets. And I think that's. I'm convinced most of Manchester United's social media team are on holiday. And we're just TweetDeck FC because all we're waking up to every morning is, oh, look at this goal by Carrick from 9 years ago. Oh, look at this tackle by John O'Shea against Liverpool. It's like everything's scheduled in May. They just basically bulk scheduled tweets between June, July until everyone comes back. It's like TweetDeck. But I think I do think that Manchester United have got to do something. And I do think that the relationship we've got with Ajax, which is a very good one, the reasons that Ajax want to sell Antony because they've seen what happened with Neres, they know that now is the time to sell him. The admiration, I suppose, is the word that Ten Hag has for Antony. I think this is a deal that United will do, and the reason I say this is that somebody was on about this morning, and it's true. Manchester United are at pains in anything they're saying at the moment to any outlet or journalist or whatever. They're at pains to say they're not at an impasse because of Frenkie de Jong. Remember what I said yesterday morning that we're waiting on De Jong because if we get De Jong, it's a lot of money and then we don't know what money we've got left, so we can't buy anybody. Manchester United are at absolute pains to say that they're not just focused on De Jong, that they are working on other things in the background. I don't believe that. They've got to prove that. I do believe that United are waiting on De Jong, and that's why they're not buying anybody else. Because, as I just said, if you've got £120 million to spend and you spend 70 or 80 on De Jong, you've only got 40 left. So how do you know who to buy? A centre back or a winger or whatever? But United are at absolute pains to say that's not the case. So therefore, if they are accurate about that, then I think Antony is the deal that you can just do very, very quickly. So let's see what happens with that. I saw the video yesterday and Ollie bought James, Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Maguire first trans winner and sold Lukaku. So wouldn't that be 75 million? You didn't watch the video, Daniel, did you? You didn't watch the video yesterday, did you? You didn't. You've just outed yourself, Daniel. We love you, Daniel, but you didn't watch the video yesterday because what did I say? That information was taken from Transfer Market for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first season. The Bruno Fernandes fee has to be included in that because it was the January transfer window. They were meant to do that deal in the summer, but it was still in his first season. January transfer window is still in the first season, so you've got to add the 50 million or whatever it was for Bruno as well. Ronnie, welcome to Members Club. Thank you very much. And Mark, you're really upbeat this morning. Good to see. It's infectious. Hope United do well on transfers here on out. Have a good weekend ahead, says Mohammed. I just feel that there will be an update from Manchester United, and I think there'll be an update today. I know a lot of people want to talk about De Jong. I don't really want to talk about De Jong, but it's a new show, so I'm just gonna whack it up straight away for you and put it up on the screen. So where are we with De Jong? Everyone's talking about De Jong this morning. Oh, it's still on. It's still on. Well, we did this last night with Charlie, so I feel like it's a bit repetition. But there is one quote I wanted to bring you. This is coming in from @FFPOlo, and he says, due to the economic levers, selling Frenkie de Jong is no longer necessary for Barcelona. However, Xavi likes Bernardo Silva more and would prefer him in their midfield. So, look, that is what it is. It's what it says on the tin, and we have to take that, of course. But I don't know. I agree with Casual that the De Jong story has become very boring. I was listening to Charlie last night. He was messaging me before the game, before the video he did, and we were talking about wages. And Frenkie de Jong is on 350 grand a week at Barcelona. He's their best paid player since Messi went. I feel that Sean Collins is getting married this weekend. There's your big announcement. Big shout out to Sean. Well done. Congratulations. I'm sure you'll get a lot of that in the chat. So I think that with Frenkie de Jong, I think that Barcelona want to sell him. There are mixed reports. Some people are saying that the only reason they wanted to sell him was because of economic issues and they've solved them now. Some people say it's because of sporting reasons. The reality is Frenkie de Jong is on massive money, £350,000 a week. And Barcelona have solved a lot of their financial issues, but they still have a ridiculous wage budget that, basically what I would say is this. If I'm Barcelona, yeah, and every week I'm spending £1 million on wages, I go to my board and they vote to sell these things so that we can bring some more money in. They're not just being handed free money. They're giving up percentages in things that they should they were going to have 100% in. So they've got an influx of cash to get them out of trouble, but it's not lent money. It's their money. They're just selling things to get it. But they're still paying £1 million a week on wages. So if they bring Lewandowski in and everyone else they want to bring in, that wage bill goes up from 1 million a week to 1.5 million a week. So they still need to trim their wage bill. Otherwise, in a couple of years' time, they're going to need to get more percentages to help them out. Barcelona have had a lot of money come in, but they've still, you can't keep spending the way they were before that got them in the trouble. So I still think that Frenkie de Jong is for sale. 350 grand a week is a lot of money, and but I think the issue is that, the issue for me is why. I'm just going to say it. Why? Oh, sorry, Daniel. I didn't read the second bit. Sorry, Daniel. Well, Daniel, I love you as well. You know I do. And so does everyone in the chat. Sorry. Sometimes Super Chats, I don't read the whole bit of it because I just take the headline. So apologies for that. But yeah, it does include Bruno. Right, I'm just going to say this. So I like Frenkie de Jong, yeah? I like Frenkie de Jong. I think we all like Frenkie de Jong. I'm bored to death of it. I can't believe we wasted 7 weeks on this deal. So Man United's transfer policy basically for the last 7 weeks has been, I want that one from Erik ten Hag. I want that one. He wants Erik ten Hag wants Frenkie de Jong. What about this one? No, I want that one. So he's waiting for Frenkie de Jong for 7 weeks, yeah? So United are waiting for Frenkie de Jong for 7 weeks. And we're waiting because we're hoping basically that Barcelona are going to go bust. That was our plan, which is not a nice plan, is it? So now Barcelona have got their money and effectively they've got a player that they probably do want to sell, but they're not desperate to sell. So I'm sort of looking at this and I'm going, so we've got a player that doesn't want to come to the club. We know that. Persuasion, I've always said we can persuade, but we know he doesn't want to come to the club. We've got a player who doesn't want to come to the club. We've got Barcelona who don't necessarily need to sell him on the cheap anymore. And we've got Man United who a few days ago said they won't pay 80 million euros and they'll walk away. On top of that, you've got a player who's on 350 grand a week. Now, some people said he was going to come to United on 250 grand a week because he was going to have to take a pay cut at Barcelona. He's not going to have to take a pay cut at Barcelona anymore. So I pose you the question, where we are today, it's not about whether United are still in for him, it's not about whether Barcelona are going to sell him, and I'm going to move on, but nobody's spoken about it like this. So this is actually a new angle. Where we are today is Barcelona have got loads of money, they don't have to sell him cheap. Manchester United have said they won't spend 80 million euros, which is what Barcelona want. De Jong doesn't actually want to go, and he's on 350 grand a week for 4 more years. His contract goes to 2026. And he doesn't need to take a pay cut anymore because Barcelona have got money. So to buy De Jong, we're going to have to spend 80 million euros and give him 350 grand a week. It's time to walk away. It is. I don't want to say that, but it's time to walk away. Like, the reason we were going to get him for 250 grand a week is because Barcelona were forcing a lot of players to take pay cuts, which Frenkie de Jong was willing to do. So if he's going to leave, he can't demand 350 grand a week because he wasn't going to get that at Barcelona anymore. So we were going to give him 250 grand a week and probably get him for about 60 million quid. Now, Barcelona aren't in financial issues. It will be 350 grand a week and it will be 80 million. We've got to walk away from that. We have to. I mean, I really like Frenkie de Jong, and I know it's the player Ten Hag wants, and many people will say, well, no, you've got to go and get him. But I have an opinion. If the club back Ten Hag, I actually respect it. But I can't understand why we think it's a good idea after the worst season we've ever had and with a team that needs a complete rebuild to throw everything at one player. And also, we should not be paying people over 300 grand a week in wages anymore. We're meant to be. I just feel this De Jong deal is not the bargain, cheap signing, opportunist thing we thought it was going to be when Barcelona were in trouble. Suddenly, it's a lot of money, it's a lot of wages, and we're not meant to be about that. We're meant to be about a rebuild. So, look, Ten Hag can say Frenkie de Jong's the player that he's going to build this team around, but we did this under fucking Mourinho. Paul Pogba was the player we were going to build it around. Maybe the plan needs to be not to throw everything at one player and try and build it around it. Like, if Ten Hag's such a good coach, which I think he is, he doesn't need one superstar marquee signing to build it around. Let's take the time to build it properly and not throw ridiculous wages and money at one player. We've got to move. I think we've got to move on. We've either got to sign him in the next couple of days or we've got to fucking move on. Simple as that. Because you know what? This ain't the end of the world if it doesn't happen now. The opportunity was if Barcelona were in financial trouble. It's not an opportunity to throw £80 million and 350 grand a week as one midfielder. We need at least 2 midfielders. We need a winger. We need an attacker. We need a centre-back. We need a full-back. It's looking more and more like a bad deal, but we'll see what happens. I still remain 75%, by the way. I still remain 75% because I think United are balls deep in this deal, but we'll see. I think once our first signing is made and complete, the rest will follow quicker. Says Wayne. De Jong is the major shirt seller for the Glazers, but he is a must. Thank you very much, Wayne, for that one. Mark, I nearly choked on my pizza when you told Charlie Barca have agreed to sell their licensing and he thought you said we agreed a De Jong deal, says El Nasser. And people still don't get the reason Barca want to sell Frenkie de Jong isn't because they're broke, it's because they're spending way over La Liga wage cap. Exactly, Dan. Exactly. I still think they want to sell him. One of the interesting things is there could still be a deal for Man City and Bernardo Silva swap, couldn't there? I totally agree, Mark. It's dragging on and he wants to stay at the biggest club in the world. We need players who want to wear the shirts, says Jay Martin. Thank you for that. And before we move on, Ramon says, we could have got Basuma, Neves, Antony, Timber and Dumfries in budget with 1 or 2 sales. Instead, we are another big name saga, says Ramon. The point is, before we move on, none of us know the truth, do we? But it does seem to me, and I will call it, because I don't know, I think you have to call it, don't you? I will call it. It seems to me we're repeating the Pogba thing of Mourinho. It seems to me we're willing to spend most of our budget and huge wages on one player as part of a rebuild. And one of the big frustrations that many Man United fans have is, when are we going to learn from the mistakes of the past? I get it. You've got to back the manager. And, in one way, we're hypocrites by saying he should be overruled. But I'm not saying he should be overruled, but I would wonder why this is happening. I would wonder if I was Richard Arnold or I was John Murtaugh, I would look at this and go, we can't pay 350 grand a week on one player. We can't spend 80 million pounds on one player that doesn't necessarily want to come here. if it's going to be a player that's going to be the focal point that's going to rebuild this football club, they've got to be engaged in it. But look, what I will say is I really like De Jong, and if we sign him, I'm not going to sit there and say I'm not excited, because he's a very good player. But the deal doesn't feel like it maybe did a month ago. It now feels like there's a lot more question marks attached to it than positives. And when that happens, you know, our history's not great on those sort of deals, is it? No coincidence Ralph Rangnick leaves and we don't have targets, says Alexander Phillips, and should go for Arthur from Juventus instead of Rabiot. He's more of the De Jong mould for half the price, says Shaj. And walk away from Frenkie and get who, Mark? Neves won't be cheap. We haven't been in for Vitina, and other players are really unrealistic, says Michael Gibson. And I think Michael, you make a great point. I mean, how structured and planned is this transfer window? Who's the second midfielder, even if we get De Jong? I mean, that's a great point in itself as we move away from De Jong. Imagine we did get him. We know we need two midfielders. What are we going to do? Play De Jong with McTominay? I mean, like, we need two midfielders, and we're just obsessed with one. Who's the second midfielder? There's big question marks. Are we actually locked into one marquee signing and then pretending that a team that finished second a year ago has got loads of potential? It is all very concerning at the moment. But Manchester United are at pains to say that they are not obsessed with Frenkie de Jong and they have other plans. Mark, what do you think of Patrick Schick as a striker? He's just signed a new deal, Dazzo. The club saying Frenkie de Jong is clogging up transfer process. If so, what was Nunez saga all about? Time to move on from Frenkie de Jong. Two centre midfields and a centre-back, and then maybe a winger, says Michael Neal. Well, I just want to pop this up on the screen for you as well, because there's quite a few bits to get through this morning. But this came in from Rob Dawson, and I think it's quite interesting just to put it up on the screen, because I'd be interested to see what your reaction is to that. Richard Arnold has stepped back from making football decisions. There are now clearer reporting lines between scouting head Steve Brown and John Murtagh, which has led to the entire process being more streamlined. Where's the evidence of that? I mean, that's great. That's great. You know what? If we'd signed two players and we were negotiating with another two, I'd be like, yes, this is it. Ed Woodward, shut up. This is right. This is exactly what needs to happen. I'm not saying that that's not good. What I'm saying is, where's the evidence of that? What's streamlined? Streamlined. I tell you what streamlined is. Streamlined is running through a gap because you're fit and healthy. I tell you what, there's a big gap at the moment. We ain't streamlined. We need to go on a diet. We ain't getting through that gap. Like we are bloated at the moment, and we're bloated with deadwood, and we're bloated with cash to spend. We need to become more streamlined. We need to get rid of some of this deadwood and start spending some bloody money, because at the moment we everyone else is running ahead of us. Is there a precedent for Ajax losing so many first team players? Erik ten Hag is a manager. Gravenberch, Mazzarri, Onana, Broby, and Antony, says Ross Baker. I think Ajax are willing to sell players. I don't think that's a problem. Carl Newton, welcome to the members club. Thank you very much. Donny is the new signing, says Gary. Yeah, it's. I think that. Trim the yard to make the grass look bigger. Yeah, they do need a bit of manscape, Sean Peters. Thank you very much for that one. In principle, that's great. We need to see the practice. There's plenty of time. Of course there is. But in principle, it's a great idea. But we're far from streamlined. I mean, Arsenal have even started signing players now, haven't they? They've got the lad from Porto. Not Vitina, it's somebody else. They're going to get Jesus. So I know Arsenal have got 2 signings done at least. Spurs, they're going to get 4 or 5 done. City are definitely going to do at least 3. Liverpool are going to do about 3. So, you know, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon, but we need a big update. Transfer windows basically becoming the same as any other. United are going to make one marquee signing, pay them daft wages, nothing is changing, says Gaz. Ten Hag has everything planned out, even to the exact minutes. The players will take a drinks break at pre-season. United aren't diving head first anymore, says Martin951. Martin, I appreciate that chat, and I think everybody would love to agree with you. They would love to agree with you on that. Erik ten Hag's here. He's got everything planned down to the minute detail, like what time to have a drinks break. Great. But who's having the drinks break, mate? Because if it's Harry Maguire and Scott McTominay who are having the drinks break, we're in trouble. Like, he needs better players than what he's got. And I'll tell you this for free as well. He hasn't got this transfer window planned down to minute detail, because if he did, he would have players in by now, because we're back in training a week on Monday. Marcus Rashford's back in training on Monday. So's a week on Monday. So's David De Gea. Non-international players are back in training a week on Monday. And then international players are back the week after. So if we've got everything planned down to minute detail, do you not think a new player might want to know they're moving to Manchester and start sorting out estate agents and things like that? Because at the end of the day, Ten Hag, he's got everything planned down to minute detail. So he'll want his players to be totally focused on the job in hand and not moving into Manchester a day before they're going on tour or something like that and having to sort out all their family issues. I don't think we've got everything planned down to minute detail at all. I think we're in a mess. And I predicted this. I said removing Ralf Rangnick was a mistake because Ralf Rangnick had a lot of things in place that United decided they didn't want to do. And then that is why Ten Hag had to come into Manchester in the middle of May, straight after winning the title, to try and get this summer back on track. But the reality is, a lot of football clubs have been working on their transfer business since February, January. We were under Rangnick and we ripped it up. Everything that Rangnick did, we ripped it up and went, no, we'll start again in the middle of May with Erik Ten Hag. Come over. And that's why we're now racing against time. And that is why now we are seeing Man City, Liverpool, Spurs, Aston Villa, Arsenal. They're all doing business because they've all been planning that business. They've all got managers that were in place in February and they've set their plans up. United's manager didn't hit Manchester until the middle of May. Our transfer business is slow because we're playing catch up. And we can spin it around as many times as we want, and we are wasting a lot of time on De Jong. But even without De Jong, I still don't think we'd have done any business because we are late. We are catching up because we are late. And the one person that we brought in that was actually meant to be the bridge between a new manager in the past was Ralf Rangnick, and we decided to go, you're sacked. And it's cost us. Get on and sell players, says Clive Roberts. Mark, what if there is pressure to start one academy graduate in the starting team every time? So either Rashford or McTominay will start no matter what, says Pranay. That pressure doesn't exist, this Pranay. We'll always have a youth academy product in the matchday squad on the bench, but we don't have to start them. Raman, welcome to the Members Club. Thank you very much for joining. Just a shout out to the Members Club, by the way. If you want to join the Members Club, you can do it through the chat, live chat, or through the join button at the bottom. Our next new exclusive video is coming up at 11 o'clock. So it'll be out at 11 o'clock. So if you are a member, don't forget to watch that. It's basically a comparison between Bruno Fernandes and Erik Ten Hag. No, Christian Eriksen. So that's our latest one. There's loads to catch up on if you've not seen them. Check that out. And I will be gifting out some memberships in a minute as well. So get ready for that. Please smash a like on the video as well. And make sure you subscribe. Bottom right-hand corner. This is the place to be. The United Stand community. Right, let me just throw this up on the screen. It makes me want to throw up. Man United are interested in Juventus midfielder Adrien Rabiot, who is available for 15 million euros with 1 year left on his contract. Now, I mean, Rabiot is almost becoming Gayton, isn't he? Or Schneider or someone like that. This is a player that we've been linked to so many times. I would file this under bullshit. I really would, but it's a news show, so we'll bring it out. I wouldn't go anywhere near Rabiot. I mean, Rabiot is a player that's just not fulfilled his talent. There's big question marks about his attitude. We shouldn't be going anywhere near a player like this. This sort of signing is not what United need. Is he 22 years of age looking to make a step up? No. He's been from PSG to Juventus. It's not worked out, and now he's looking for another big payday at another big club. We should steer clear of this, and I guarantee you will never talk about Rabiot again, other than that news story. So if anyone's getting excited about that, I just hope it's not going to happen. Is their manager seems to prefer De Silva in midfield if they get him? Wonder how Frenkie de Jong will be branched when he could possibly get regular games at Man United, says Ronald. Mate, I don't want to go back to De Jong. There's no doubt in my mind that Barcelona still want to sell him. I just don't know whether United should still want to buy him. I mean, I don't care whether you're Frenkie de Jong or Messi. We shouldn't be spending 350 grand a week on players when we are where we are. You know, it's arrogant. At some point, we've got to realise we finished 6th and we were lucky to finish 6th. We're in the Europa League. We need to build a team. We don't need a shirt seller. We don't need a marquee signing. We need to build a team. And the sad thing is, I think most Man United fans were wide open to the fact that we weren't going to buy a shirt seller this summer. We were going to be looking to buy 4 or 5 players for about 170 million, who were players that were in it for the long run, who were looking to step up and be part of our future over the next 3 years. Nobody was really expecting it. Nobody really wanted it. And what have United done? I remember somebody saying this to me a couple of years ago. Woodward was always obsessed with it, and the Glazers love it. Every summer, they love to show a shirt seller to say we can still do that sort of thing. But I'm sorry, that's theme park football again, isn't it? Oh, we might be losing money, but look at our new ride. We're like Alton Towers FC. Look at the nemesis we've got. Ooh, it's like, we're not a theme park, we're a football club. Let's build the bloody football club. We don't need to go out and do what we do every bloody year and spend loads of money on one player. Let's build a team. United will focus on Antony now. This will be their strategy for walking away from Frenkie de Jong deal without getting humiliated. This is Oliver. Ramon, thank you very much for becoming a member. And my hope is Erik ten Hag knows that Ajax, and it's one of those years where they sell most of their team and start a rebuild themselves, says Nathan. And Elliot says, getting rid of Rangnick feels like the plan to make Eric take time on reevaluate and remove existing players instead of bringing in new ones, says Elliot. Yeah, I think you make a great point, Elliot, and I think some people will probably agree with you on this. Ralph Rangnick came in for 6 months and basically said you need to sell 10 players and you need to buy 10 players over the next couple of years. And United went, we don't want to do that. You're sacked. Even though Rangnick said what the fans wanted, I think the club went, we're not doing that. That's too expensive. Get out. And maybe Erik ten Hag went, yeah, I only need 3 players and I'll use a lot of what you've got. We'll find out. But I wouldn't be surprised if that's what happened. Ralph Rangnick spoke very publicly about what we needed to do and we loved it. Maybe that's why they got rid of him. Mark, we should have got Graven back, but like Bellingham, we run by clowns looking for name signings. We missed on Concessi as well, says David T. At this point, I would be happy with Antony, Ericsson, Sangari, Torres and Dumfries. Forget De Jong, says Carl. Just sign hungry young players Erik ten Hag can develop, says David Kennedy. Let's get a wage structure, a transfer ethos, hungry quality players to step up with the mentality to win, says Raman. And I think that's what we all thought was going to happen. And Daniel Kirk says, did you see David De Gea article saying he was disappointed that coaches haven't helped him develop and he is excited for ten Hag? Distribution, David incoming. Yes, Daniel, I did. In fact, we are going to talk about that in a moment. But I just want to go back to, I'm absolutely convinced there's going to be a big United brief this morning. I've heard from a couple of people that there will be. I say this morning, it could be afternoon, but I'm absolutely convinced there will be. We had it from Laurie Whitwell last week. I do think Antony is a deal United can just divert their attention to and have a free run at and get that deal done. So I wouldn't be surprised if Antony becomes very, very much the focus for Manchester United over the next days. Literally, that's last week. This time last week, we were talking about a few reports in Brazil, and I said it'll hit the UK press, and it did. I wouldn't be surprised if this is going to be our focal point first signing, because the De Jong deal, I know people don't want it, but I'm nearly at that point now where I'd agree with United walking away. And I know that's embarrassing, and we've wasted a load of time, and hopefully we learn the lesson. But what would you rather do with De Jong? Would you rather walk away and save that 70, 80 million and use it elsewhere? Or would you rather spend that 80 million, spend that 350 grand a week and use most of your budget and a massive wage bill on one player that's still reluctant to come to the club? It's close. I know I make it sound like the second option's the bad option. I mean, I still want De Jong. And also, let's not forget Ten Hag wants him. But, that's the thing. I'm not adamant either way. I'm still very much swayed by the fact that this is the player that Ten Hag wants, and I still think United will do the deal. But I do have doubts, and that worries me about a signing, because you shouldn't have doubts. And when you have doubts about a Manchester United signing, it doesn't always go well. Do we think the big clear will start next year once Erik ten Hag has actually worked with the players, says Michael Neal. And if we were City, De Jong would be signed already. The pull of Manchester United has become a push factor. Scary how we've dropped under the Glazers, says Scott Wheeler. And Mark, thanks for everything you do. You're our biggest asset. Please don't leave the United stand, says King. Thank you very much, mate. You're a legend. Cheers for that. Just going back to what Michael said about, do we think Erik ten Hag will clear next year? I mean, you might be right, and it's not necessarily Erik ten Hag's fault. In fact, it's not his fault at all. But this was the downside of Rangnick going. He knew the players that were the problem. We know who the players of the problem are. That conversation between him and Erik ten Hag, if they'd worked together, would have been, get rid of these players, and Erik ten Hag trusts that. What seems to have happened is United have gone, get out, Rangnick, and now ten Hag is left in a situation where he hasn't really got anyone to tell him to say, sell Brandon Williams, sell Twan Sebi, sell Wan-Bissaka, sell Eric Bailly. He's almost got to take them on tour and have a look at them. And that's just wasted time. I know as a fan, and you know as a fan, the 7 or 8 players he needs to sell now. But it looks like we've done it again. We're bringing another manager in and another clean slate. which is what Mourinho did it, Oli did it, Rangnick did it, and now Ten Hag's going to do it. And I tell you what, that Rangnick appointment, with every passing day, becomes the biggest joke decision this club's ever made, because what was the point? We may as well have said to the Premier League in December, can you just average our points out? We're going to piss off for 6 months and have a break. Because we completely wrote that season off. Everything we did from December to May, there's just nothing. Apart from a few goals from Ronaldo, there's nothing in that time that benefits this football club. We wasted it. Absolutely wasted it. Everything Rangnick learnt, everything that was fed into the club, they just went, no, we're not listening to that. Goodbye. Eric, you start again. And he's going to have to give people chances that don't deserve chances, because there's no evidence for him to go off other than I'll give everyone a chance again. Agree with you, we don't need another shirt seller, we need players. I would walk away, says Ronald. Mark, I agree with you on De Jong. We need to walk away from De Jong and look at bringing in 3 or 4 good focused players to the squad. Deals such as De Jong can be done when we are in a better position, says Karan. And hi from USA, Mark. What about free players like Frank Kessie, Lewandowski? Are those already Barcelona players? Yes, they are. They are, definitely. TX. And welcome to the Members Club, Kieran Sharp. So, look, I think you should always offer up an alternative. That's what we are. We are a community. And I think that if we did walk away from the Frenkie de Jong deal, then what do? We know that we have Ruben Neves as a backup, but we also know that Ruben Neves would probably cost 60 million as well, which is a lot of money. There are other options though. I mean, I'm absolutely convinced that Lema would be a good signing for Manchester United. He's a £20 million player. Sangari, again, would be around that sort of fee. So you can get Sangari and Lema for under 45 million quid. Are they not befitting of what we're trying to do? They're both way better than Fred and McTominay for a start. We're in the Europa League. We're not going to win the league. They're transitional players. Why would you not look at those two? And there will be countless other players like that. Countless other players around that sort of fee across Europe. This Fatina's been mentioned as well. He's 34 million quid. There's loads of other options other than Frenkie de Jong. So let's not be terrified of what we do. It's about what we want to do. And what I want to do and what you want to do is not going to be what Man United want to do. And that's fine. We have to respect who the manager is. We have to respect who the owners are. But they also have to respect that we love this football club, consume this football club every day in our thoughts, and we've got every right to not sit there like sheep and robots and go, oh, I think we should just buy De Jong. I think we should spend all the budget on him. I think we should bring him here even though he doesn't want to be here. I think we should give him 350 grand a week. There will be some fans who think that. That's absolutely fine. But, you know, we don't have to go along with a club that's made a lot of mistakes in the past. James has just gifted 5 United Stand memberships. Legend, James. Thank you very much for doing that. And Emily says, we need to box clever with transfers this summer. The catch is we haven't got the structure to do it, says Emily. Yeah, look. Until we start doing business, they're going to get criticised. I really like Mateus from Nunes from Sporting, says Lars. Look, there's lots of good players out there. I mean, people talk to me all the time about this midfielder from Salzburg called Kamara. Is it Kamara at Salzburg? I think it is Kamara. I mean, I don't know whether he's going to go anywhere, but there are lots of options out there. And I mean, what I'd also say as well is De Jong not an obvious signing? Is he not? I mean, he's not Harry Maguire and he's not Aaron Wan-Bissaka, but is there a real element of scouting there? I think with Rangnick, he would never go and buy someone like that. Rangnick's never bought anyone like that, I don't think. So he would not recommend that. He would be saying there's a player at Lille or there's a player in the Bundesliga who can be the next big thing. And I think that's what we as fans had an appetite for. De Jong is a very good signing, but it's a very expensive, obvious signing. And United, I suppose that's the message I would send. We need to be a club that's finding the next Ronaldo, that's finding the next De Bruyne. And we seem to have got locked in over the last 9 years of just trying to buy the complete package all the time. Whether it's a Matic, a Lukaku, a Di Maria, a De Jong, a Pogba. We're always trying to go for what I think is an expensive, quick fix. Oh, they're a good player, they'll be a good player for us. And it never works like that. They're a good player because they're probably a good player in a system that suits them. You can't just buy players and drop them into a Man United side that's struggling. We need to build a team. We need to build a structure. And that is what I would like United to do. And to do that, you've got to scout well. And look, that's why Ten Hag wants De Jong, let's be honest. He's not buying him because he's one of the world's best midfielders. He's buying him because he knows him like the back of his hand, and he knows that he will be a conductor in the way that he wants to play. Let's not pretend De Jong's a bad signing by any stretch of the imagination. He's a very good signing, and he's symbolic of the way that Ten Hag wants to play, and the midfield is very important. So I'm not knocking why we want to buy him. I'm just saying it's an ambitious signing where we are. And when Erik Ten Hag was doing his interview, surely Man United didn't just sit there and be bewildered by the fact that he went, my plan is to buy Frenkie de Jong and make us great again. Because my reply to Eric would have been, what if we can't get him? What's your plan then? And that's the one I would have been more interested in, because I would have been, well, this is a proper coach. So I'm almost intrigued to see what his plan B is with this, because getting Frenkie de Jong is not easy. I saw De Jong and Basuma in the midfield too. It was all just a crazy dream, says Sean Finity. Paulina from Sporting would be good. I think he's a bit overrated, Kieran. And in fact, apparently he's going to Fulham. So there we go. Jay says, what happened to Sabitzer of Bayern? He is also available. Yeah, I mean, look, it didn't go great at Bayern for him. But there are options out there. There are definitely options out there. Anyway, let me just bring this up because I think it's well worth talking about. So you should be able to see it on your screen at the moment. Those close to David De Gea believe he's willing to adapt and improve his game to suit Ten Hag's style, where the goalkeeper is competent at distribution. Distribution De Gea is on the download. Well, I don't know whether that's the case or not. I'm a fan of De Gea. I know some people aren't a fan of De Gea. But there are people who don't like De Gea who say Maguire's a decent centre-back. There are people that don't like De Gea who say Rashford's going to have an amazing season. But you're describing the same thing. If Harry Maguire's going to be a better centre-back under Ten Hag and Rashford's going to find his form under Ten Hag, then surely David De Gea is allowed to become a better goalkeeper as well. They're all going to get better coaching. It's all going to be about passing. And I think with David De Gea, you're always going to have a world-class shot stopper. What are we going to get in relation to distribution? Because, you know, it's a big year for David De Gea. Like, Dean Henderson's going to be getting man of the match every week for Forest because he's going to have a lot of shots to save. And look, if you put David De Gea in goal for Sheffield United that season, he'd probably be their man of the match as well. If you player of the season, if you put Alisson in goal for Sheffield United that season, he's probably going to be the player of the year because you're going to be busy. And Dean Henderson's going to be busy and everyone's going to be going, we need him in goal at Man United. And you know, he's a good goalkeeper, but it's a very different job to be in goal for Nottingham Forest and Sheffield United and to be in goal for Liverpool and Manchester United, because the concentration levels are required and the pressure is much bigger when you're at a big club where you might only make 2 big saves in a game, whereas at a club like that you might be making 10. So it's different worlds, but people will be putting pressure on De Gea because they'll be going, well, Henderson's doing this, Henderson's doing that. And he's under a lot of pressure because De Gea's Erik Ten Hag is going to want him to be a goalkeeper that can distribute. I've already said this. David De Gea has earned the right to be our number 1 next season. This time next year, I might be sat here going, it's time for Dave to go. And my eyes are wide open to that. And I don't know why people never understand that. I'm a massive fan of De Gea. But all I've said is he deserves to be the number 1 goalkeeper at the start of the season. What he does from there, whether he improves, whether he can improve his distribution and coming for crosses and all those things, I hope he can. We'll have to wait and see. But, you know, I think the bottom line is he deserves it. Why are we buying Antony? We already have wingers, says Spicy Meatball, because we don't have a left-footed winger, mate. It's as simple as that. Olamandi, thank you very much for joining the members. Rangnick is probably cheering. He's not in this mess, says Shahir. I bet he's not. I bet he wishes he was, and I bet I wish he was doing the plans he wanted to do. Morning, Mark. De Gea has been loyal to us. He needs to be our number 1 next season, says Mikhail Roach. Hi, Mark. On holiday in Cyprus. Lucky you. And listen to your morning show every day by the pool. Keep up the good work. Mate, I wish I was, KMW. It's a lovely, beautiful day today. But I would love to be... I would love to be by the pool. Right, I'm just going to gift 10 memberships. Let me... 10 of you randomly will get picked now. And welcome and thank you for that. There we go. Should hit now. There we go. 10 of you've got the membership. So what happens with memberships? You get a badge next to your name to let everybody know that you're a member. That badge will change each month in colour all the way up to platinum. On top of that, you get exclusive videos going up each week for you. We've just got another one landing at 11 o'clock today, which is Eriksen versus Bruno, comparing what they are and what they would bring. So check that out. Thank you very much. Of course, this is on top of all the free content you will always get on this channel. Nothing gets taken away. In fact, we seem to be adding more and more shows on the YouTube channel for free. So make sure you subscribe. That's free to do, bottom right-hand corner. Smash a like on the video. I'm back at 2 o'clock and 8 o'clock today, unless something breaks. And what I would say is, if you are a member, make sure you check out that video that's coming up, and also the polls that we do. What I would say is, I'm fully expecting Manchester United to leak or brief or something to come out from a journalist today, because the mood is flat. We're going into the weekend. I said on Monday morning, I can't envisage Man United going another week without doing anything. Well, if we don't do anything today, I doubt we'll do anything on Saturday and Sunday. So we have gone a week without doing anything. So it's unbelievable. Unbelievable how quick the days are moving and nothing's getting done. Thanks everyone for watching. Please do subscribe, bottom right hand corner. We're on the road to 360,000. I think we're only about 100 away from 358,000 now. Get involved. Of course, when we go live, it could be at any time, so you need to get your notifications on. Click the subscribe button in the bottom right hand corner and click the bell to put all ticks on. And I'll speak to you in a little bit. Thanks for the show this morning. Another cracker. Lots of conversation in there. And let's see what the rest of the day brings. I'll speak to you at 2 o'clock.